Hello, everyone. Another movie, another day, and if you haven't noticed from the title below, it's a very uplifting movie today. Another one of my wife's picks, and another movie about cancer. Um, Coincidentally, hopefully. Um, it is called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. It is, I believe, an indie film. It premiered at the Sundance Festival. Um, and it was very well done. I think I liked it. I think that although they did a lot of peculiar production methods, they had a lot of different type of camera angles. They would shoot from one side and then shoot from the other side. They had fish lens and wide angle shots. Um, but I think that it tied in well with kind of portraying the different types of relationships between the characters. So I think that it worked well. I think that it was very well done. Um, the three main characters, all from the title, Me is referring to the character Greg, who narrates the movie. Earl is his friend slash coworker. They make movies together, and the dying girl's name is Rachel. And those three actors and actresses do a very good job. I think that for portraying such deep and intense roles as teenagers, I think that they did a very, I think that they did fantastic. And then you also have some very well-known actors, which I was surprised to see in an indie film. But I won't give those away. I think that they were a nice surprise. So see for yourself. Um, the movie is fairly well paced. I think that at first I didn't really understand the plot, but as it moved on, I kind of got more of a feeling of where they were going with it. Um, Greg breaks the fourth wall. He talks to the viewers once in a while, um, mentioning a tidbit here or there about either his friends or what he does at school. He is a self-proclaimed, I guess, part of all the different groups in school. Um, the beginning of the movie, he's trying to explain that he's not really part of any group, but he kind of, uh, sneaks into to different parts, just kind of, giving one or two different comments, and then on his way to the next group. Just, not really staying in one place. Um, he doesn't even eat lunch in the cafeteria. He has lunch with his friend Earl in a teacher's office watching a movie most days. So he seems kind of a loner, and at first you kind of think that well, this is an awkward character to have you know narrating the story, but I digress. Um, so from here on out, I'm just gonna say most likely spoilers. So we'll move forward. If you like indie films, if you like just kind of off productions, and you don't like the run of the mill action adventure, romantic comedy, drama, stuff like that, I would definitely recommend this film. So moving on, the movie starts off as I said with Greg. Um, he's moving from group to group. He doesn't really have any friends other than Earl, and his mother informs him that this girl Rachel was diagnosed with leukemia, and obviously he's upset about it, but he doesn't really talk to her much. He's not that great of a friend, so he doesn't really think much of it. Well, his mother literally forces him to go over and spend time with her, and he says to her, "Look, I don't want to be here, but I just want to make my mom happy, so let's just hang out for a day." And that pretty much sets the tone for the relationship, the start of the relationship at least. And they have little text at the bottom that reads, day one of a doomed relationship, and rightly so. And so they're hanging out and they're talking for a bit, and the movie goes on and they start becoming decent friends. But Greg again talks to the viewers and he says, "Look, this isn't a romance. We don't fall in love. It doesn't happen." And the film will kind of veer off to where you think it would be going, where they do fall in love, and he puts his arm around her, she leans into his shoulder, and then it'll cut back, and Greg will be narrating, and it'll be what is actually happening in the film. And he also does a few other things. There's a few points in the movie where it takes a turn for the worst, and he consoles the viewers, and he says, I just want you not to be worried. She doesn't die at the end of the movie. He tells us twice. He promises us. He says she doesn't die at the end of the movie. Don't worry. I know that this looks bad, but everything's fine. Everything's perfectly fine. And so the movie progresses, and she has to go through chemotherapy, and she slowly talks less, and she finds out that Greg and Earl make movies together, so she insists on seeing them. And that's pretty much how Greg and Rachel become better friends, is watching these movies together, and she loves them. And so this one girl at school, this fourth character, comes up to Greg and Earl, and she says, "Look, I know that you guys make the movies. I saw Rachel watching one earlier. You have to make one for Rachel. You have to make one of these movies." So that's their main task, throughout the second half of the movie, trying to make this movie, um, trying to make this film for Rachel before anything happens. But he told us nothing's gonna happen. But just before anything happens, she wants to see this movie. She gets wind of it, and she kind of just mentions, hey, by the way, like, what, when is this movie coming? So they're trying very hard, and anyway, uh, he is of course Greg in high school, and he's trying to do his best, but he's hanging out with Rachel so often that after applying for some colleges, he stops doing schoolwork, and he's lagging behind, and his teachers are getting worried, and um, it's really not looking well, but he doesn't care because he's become attached to Rachel, and he wants her to push through, and he just wants to spend more time with her. Um, she stops taking the treatment, and he becomes very angry at this, and obviously it's a very, like I said, it's a very deep role. It's very severe emotions going through this teenager. It's extreme. It is very extreme. They do very well with it, but it's a bit much, and so she, like I said, takes a turn for the worse, and she stops the treatment. Um, but he insists, please just go through with the treatment. Go to prom with me. At least go to prom with me. She declines, and this other girl that forced him to make the movie, she wants to go with him. So you get to the end, and he's in his tux, and his mother is just overjoyed that he's going to prom with someone. And like I said, he was an outsider at the beginning of this movie, and he seems to have grown from not only from the help of Rachel, but just from all of the things that he's been involved with because of her. And so he gets in the limo, and he's riding, and he and the limo driver are talking about the girl that they're going to pick up. And you think that it's this fourth character, but in fact they pull up to the hospital. And he goes in, and Rachel is in her bed, and he pulls out the movie and a portable projector, and he's showing her the movie, and everything is great for a few minutes, and she starts to have problems. So he runs out, and he grabs her mother, and they grab a nurse, and he's standing there watching her as she's going through this issue. Um, they push him out, and he comes over as the narrator, and he says, "That was the last time that I saw Rachel. She went into a coma for 10 hours, and then she passed away." So this son of a bitch tells us twice, not once, but twice, that she's going to be perfectly fine. She's not going to die. And he lied to us. Lied. So I don't know if it's because of that or just because of the shock. Because obviously you don't see it coming. Because you've been told explicitly that it's not going to happen. But it's a crazy ending. It's an absolute crazy ending. And he's distraught, absolutely distraught, rightly so, obviously. And he's been getting these college letters saying, look, you were accepted before, but we're revoking it because you've stopped doing your schoolwork, you stopped all this stuff. And as her final act, Rachel has a letter to Greg, and she says, "Look, I know that you haven't been doing any of your schoolwork because of me. I've written these letters to all of the admission boards of these schools, and I've told them, and there's this very heartfelt note that he reads aloud, um, and basically uh, that is the end. And you don't know if he gets into school. You're hoping that he does. You're hoping that there is some bright side to this movie, because what sadistic bastard would make you go through this crap, and not give you any type of closure. But so that's it. That's how it ends. Like I said, though, I did enjoy it. It was a roller coaster of emotions. There were some funny parts, which was nice. It definitely lightened the mood, which is so difficult. I mean, a movie about cancer. Like I've said before, like the last movie that I reviewed, um, it's very difficult. It's difficult, but they did a very good job. So yeah. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for going through the roller coaster with me. Like I said in all of my past videos, all of my past little blurbs at the bottom, if you have any movies that you'd like me to review, please let me know. I'm 9 days through the month right now. I've got 22 days to go. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But we'll see. We'll see if I make it. I'll have to start going to Redbox. So please let me know if there's anything that you're dying for me to review. If not, just leave a friendly comment or a hateful comment. Any comment is perfectly fine. But again, thanks very much for watching, and I look forward to the next video.